Stumbling into its second weekend, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever continues to hit the marks of, well, every Phase 4 film before it. It had a big open, but it has very weak legs. Now, that's not surprising. It fits into the pattern that will likely shape future Disney releases, and worse yet, Disney is now set to compete with itself during the third weekend, which is of course the Thanksgiving holiday weekend here in the United States. This is actually the release of a new animated film, the 61st film of the nearly 100-year history of Disney animation. And, well, that film is supposed to be a Disney-branded 4-quadrant release. It's called Strange World. And let me tell you that this film has a lot of problems on its own. And, well, it's got a whole host of issues that will likely push families farther and farther away from anything branded Disney. And it won't matter what franchise it's tied to. But we'll set that aside and dive into the future of the Wakanda box office. Here we go. Now, we're not going to bury the lead here. Wakanda Forever is not on the best trajectory. It's clear to see in this infographic from the numbers, which is, again, a site that I follow. You see the shaded area there? Or there, wherever it is. Grant, figure it out. But you see that shaded area? That's where you want your movie to be, inside that tan cone of success. Because that is the cone of legs. And let me read you the exact definition of what that cone actually represents, at least according to the folks over at the numbers. The shaded area represents the expected performance range for a film based on its opening weekend box office. 95% of films fall within the shaded area. If a film trends towards the top end of the shaded area, it has good legs. If it trends towards the bottom end of the shaded area, it has poor legs. The predictive area is based on movies from the past 5 years, which means there's a broad range of numbers there, and almost a broad range of economic circumstances, although I would say specifically the last 3 years have been particularly tough when it comes to films. I would say things have been going downwards, at least since the record year of 2019. But algorithmically, I guess it's not overstating it to say that this film isn't inside that performance metric. So it had a precipitous fall off with a projected final box office capping this weekend at a 63% drop. That's not good. All of this is despite the fact that it opened in 300 more theaters than its 2018 predecessor or counterpart, Black Panther. In fact, in comparison, domestic numbers after the first weekend have, well, trended to earning a little more than half of the daily box office earnings of the original. Consider this: Black Panther: Bait and Switch Forever is now running $115 million behind the original Black Panther from 2018. And this is just in domestic box office alone. The international box office is also drifting downward. Well, drifting is probably not falling downward. That's probably more accurate. But never fear, everyone. Deadline is here, and they are here with their hopes and dreams and expectations for this film's Thanksgiving performance, combined with their unabashed criticism of every competitor for this film in this most recent weekend and going forward. And this is from the Sunday Write-Through from Deadline, otherwise called Lazy Approach to Coverage, and most easily to be abused for stealth editing, but I'll set that aside. You see, Anthony D. Alessandro writes, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever's second weekend is coming in lower than its projected 70 million plus, with a 67.3 million minus 63% drop in the box office. That's not necessarily something to get worried about, however, as sources keep telling me this pic's running time is what's slowing it down a bit. Let me shoot some holes in that real quick. Running time is slowing this film down. Well, this film is in 4,396 theaters. That's just here domestically. And once again, in comparison to the original film, which was only in 4,084 theaters at its apex, it didn't even start out there. It was a little shy of that even. Each theater for the Bait and Switch Forever film is at least half empty on average, and you can tell that by per theater earning. They're not sold out, not even close. And the runtime doesn't actually matter. In fact, the original Black Panther wasn't exactly a short film by any means. It clocked in at 2 hours and 14 minutes. So quick math here, and I'm probably wrong because I don't do this well, but you actually only have to hold your bladder about 27 minutes longer than the previous film. And that's actually just about 1/6 of its runtime. So by all accounts, if you got up to go to the bathroom during the course of the film, you wouldn't actually miss anything or miss very little of any relevance, because I guess it's full of a lot of filler. I wouldn't know. I'm not going to see the film. A lot of people I know aren't going to see the film, and that's one of its other problems. But let's return to some more pixie dust infused coverage here by Anthony, who is not so much reporting as he is actually rooting for an outcome. On the bright side, it's Thanksgiving weekend, and if people aren't seeing Wakanda Forever this weekend, then they're making an appointment to see it sometime this week. Hands down. I wonder how many people he reached out to come to that conclusion. It's a lot of assumption on his point. My goodness. This is not reporting, actually. I guess it's closer to praying at this point. And it doesn't stop there, because anyone who knows Disney knows that their PR department is pushing these outlets to this point and releasing press statement after press statement trying to be glowing about this film. Now, oddly enough, some of the normal allies out there for all things Disney, and of course for all things modern audience oriented, well, they're not all cheer and mirth at the moment. The Huffington Post, or HuffPo, ran with an article outlining their criticisms from their very own Slack chat after seeing the film. We got this covered, and whatever you want to consider that site, mustered a messy but moving description of the film overall. Not exactly terribly inspiring. And some outlets out there are even starting to post things that sound more like what you would hear around the Fellowship right now, at least when it comes to the future of the MCU. Inverse, in fact, in this article, talks about the lack of quality directors coming in for these films. I would have to agree. Among many other giant problems, this may be Marvel's largest one: the dwindling quality of its writing, its directors, and its ideas. Well, and also its characters. But the sum of it all is this: Phase 4 was a failure, a flop. What the overall numbers for Bait and Switch Forever actually tally out to isn't going to eke out much of a profit. I don't think it'll make any profit. In light of the marketing, the promotion, and everything else spent on this film, I'm still hanging my prediction on the fact that this film is always, and was always, bound to lose money. And it's going to be a glorious study of next quarter's financial pass. Disney's going to probably be flowing with lots of red ink from many different areas, and I think that it'll flow even more freely once the investor bloodletting begins. So many beloved companies with so many beloved brands heading the wrong direction. But hey, what do you think? We're to that part of the video where I ask you a bunch of questions, and I would really appreciate if you would respond down in the comments section below. So, do you see Wakanda Forever crossing the grand number of $800 million that would stretch it across the threshold into profitability? Do you see the prayers of Deadline being answered and a miracle happen to push Wakanda Forever over $1 billion? Because remember, that's the goal. And where do you think that the actual MCU goes from here? I'm looking at A-Force. I don't know about you. Anyway, like I said, feel free to utilize the comment section down below, and hopefully we'll be able to, I don't know, figure this out amongst ourselves. With that, I'm going to ask you to please support independent creators here on the platform and elsewhere. We need a growing and diverse group of humans producing amazing content, not oriented around modern audience ideology or any of the other buzzwords that just means garbage and for narrative's sake. So you can simply do that by, you know, liking, sharing, commenting on anybody's stuff, and definitely subscribe to it if you're interested in it. I really appreciate all the support I get here that way, and I know a lot of other creators do as well. And with that, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it is good hygiene. It is. And until next time, bye.
And don't forget to check out my Rumble at rumble.com/culturecasino.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.